Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. So today we're going to be talking about the Lakers once more. They're the hottest topic in the NBA. Yeah, there's some other things, but to be honest with you guys, I'm really enjoying this. So I said, hey, let's just keep it going and see how long it can keep going. Our viewers seem to love it. So, hey, let's keep talking about it. So, as you guys know, going into last night's game against the Atlanta Hawks, the Lakers had lost by an average of 35 points over the last two games. The game before that, they lost by 41 points. So that was an absolute embarrassment. Even caused Laker legend Magic Johnson to come out there and make a comment and said, this is not Lakers basketball. This is embarrassing, all of that, right? So going into last night's game against the Atlanta Hawks, the Lakers had some pressure on them. They did, right? Even though they were the more talented team, they were still playing with pressure, given the fact how they've been playing over their recent stretch and losing in the fashion that they did. So going into that game, the Lakers definitely came out with more concentration, although they were still making their usual blunders and boneheaded moves throughout the game, and it became a very entertaining game. I was actually splitting my time between that game and the Boston Celtics Milwaukee Bucks game. So when I saw that the Celtics game was pretty much decided late in that fourth, I tuned over to the Lakers game, and it was just kind of seesaw back and forth, and then the game ended up going to overtime, and there were just some boneheaded plays that happened out there on the behalf of the Lakers. And they kept on giving the Atlanta Hawks, opportunity after opportunity. And then ultimately, the Atlanta Hawks were able to capitalize on some of the mistakes that the Lakers made. And then Trae Young got open for a three-pointer, which pretty much iced the game, and he ended up winning. So in the aftermath of that, we did a live. My phone is going off. People are like, yo, did you see what happened with this? Did you see what happened there? Did you see JJ Redick's press conference? Did you see his press conference? It was a word salad. I'm like, no, I didn't. So let me check out JJ Redick's press conference and see what the hell he said after the Lakers lost that game. And boy, oh boy, did JJ Redick not disappoint. He sat up there and said a bunch of nothing. And as he was talking, you could really see that the reality of the situation was beginning to settle in on him. Like, it was beginning to dawn on him that all that talking that I did on television, I was there criticizing Doc Rivers and all of these things. He was really starting to realize, like, oh my God, it's a lot harder to coach than it seemed like when I was just up there flapping my gums all over the place and criticizing the coaching jobs that other coaches were doing. So what we want to do now is we're going to play some of the sound of what JJ had to say, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to JJ Redick here.
JJ, it did seem like you got the response from energy, competitive standpoint. It is the late game execution, or is there frustration kind of shades from the Orlando game? How do you put all that together?
Different type scenario than the Orlando game, but certainly frustrated with late game execution. Turnover. Lebron makes a great play to get the block. Wasn't exactly the right sort of angles and screening that we had sort of done many times, in practice, one of our end game, get the ball in plays. And I think the concern when you run that is when AD comes back towards half court, that's not what you want ideally, because then he's sort of in a trappable spot versus catching it in the middle of the floor. And then, they did a good job just in pursuit of the basketball on the jump ball. And then, I don't know if it was the communication or whatnot, but, we messed up the red with Trae Young. Left him open, so.
So are you wanting to blitz him there to get the ball out of his hands ideally, or?
It was discussed with the group. Yeah, no, we weren't. It was just a normal red scenario like you would do a million times in game. thought Gabe defensively was really good. I thought a lot of our guys really competed on that end. Trey's tough. He's not the size of some of the bigger players like Luka or LeBron or Joker, but he knows how to manipulate a defense. He's a really good player.
JJ, you mentioned Gabe. You gave him a start tonight. What went into putting him in the starting lineup, and how much was that matchup dependent? Going against Trey.
I just felt like, and again, we debated back and forth. Do we want to play coverage? Do we want to be in switching? I think he was 9 for 25. I think the thought process was, that staying out of coverage and out of drop where he's just, throwing the ball over the place and getting 18 assists was not the right option. And then he gets 20. So didn't do a great job of our Reds in general. Thought when we did it, it was solid and we kept people in front of us. But, just too much. We talk all the time too. Is like if we're gonna, we always have the whole season. I've had switching groups, and if you still need a low man, and I don't think we were great with our low man tonight. Had a couple good low mans, but didn't have good low mans.
So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. JJ seems like this situation is really getting to him. I think JJ thought that this thing was going to be a lot easier than it actually ended up being. I really think so. JJ didn't realize just how much of a boneheaded team this Lakers team is. You see, last year when they were blaming the issues on Darvin Ham, people didn't really spend enough time focusing on the team itself. So now you get a JJ Redick who seems to be a worse coach than Darvin Ham, and he's really you heard what he said earlier in the season. I can't go on the court with them. I can't execute for them, and all that. He said there's some confounding basic basketball blunders that the team has made. Welcome to the Lakers. There was a play, like an inbound play in the second half where the Lakers were inbounding it. There were 3 players, and they were just like walking up the court. And the Atlanta Hawks player just went up there and stole it from him. Like the Lakers were in a different zone. And a lot of that has to do with coaching because it's the coach's job to get these guys ready and focused. But also, we also got to talk about the players because they're also professionals. They are also professionals, and it's up to them to also ensure that they're ready to go when these games kick off. So now the Lakers find themselves in a situation where they've lost 3 in a row. Now they're going to be going home to play against the Portland Trail Blazers, which should be a game that they should win, even though they're the 10th seed. But then they have two pretty feisty matchups coming after that. They're going to be facing against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who embarrassed them less than a week ago and beat them by 29 points. And they're going to be going against Ja Morant's Memphis Grizzlies, who always seem to have the smoke and are ready to go at the Lakers. So there's a chance that if the Lakers come out there flat-footed, not focused, that they could get embarrassed again. You already hear that on ESPN, Michael Wilbon and these guys are talking about LeBron potentially going to the Golden State Warriors. They're already waving a white flag. They're already talking about what moves can the Lakers. We're already into it. 20-some games into the season, we're like, what moves can they make? But going into the season, we're like, well, they got Pat Riley on the bench. It's just the whole thing is a joke, and I am here enjoying every step of it. I am enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. People are sitting in the comment section, are you going to produce something else? Nope. I'm enjoying this story too much. So if you don't like the content we're producing, I suggest you tune off for the next week or so because we're going to be producing a lot of this because I'm enjoying this a lot. Coming into this season, there were all of these storylines surrounding JJ Redick about how brilliant he is. Even after he had his interview with the Lakers, oh my God, the guy's a savant. He sees numbers in the sky. He's just something else. We had people like, I think it was Dave McMenamin or somebody at ESPN reporting that the Lakers feel like they have the next Pat Riley. Just imagine the next Pat Riley. And given the fact that JJ Redick used to work at ESPN, all of his colleagues or former colleagues were cheering him on. Oh, go JJ, go JJ, go JJ, go JJ, go JJ. And one of those people that was cheering him on was Stephen A. Smith. As you guys know, Stephen A. Smith and JJ Redick have been on ESPN on a number of times. They've had their various dust-ups. But Stephen A. Smith always maintained that, hey, it's just TV, just entertaining, no biggie whatsoever. So when JJ got the job, Stephen A. Smith said he wishes him the best and he thinks JJ Redick is going to do a fantastic job. The season starts off, JJ looked pretty good in those 3 games, but then we quickly realized that, look, the real competition needs to start. And throughout the season, Stephen A. Smith has maintained that, oh, JJ Redick is doing a good job. But then I started to notice, I'm like, wait a minute. This guy is giving JJ Redick praise when he doesn't deserve it. Why? Because for the vast majority of the season, at various points, JJ Redick has had an identical record to that of former Lakers head coach Darvin Ham. But I never heard Stephen A. Smith talking about Darvin Ham was doing a fantastic job. And I was saying to myself, why is Stephen A. Smith why does he have this default position that JJ is doing a good job when in reality he's not? And now people are beginning to catch on to the fact that JJ Redick is not doing a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, the numbers suggest otherwise. The Lakers were better offensively last year. This year, they are a horrendous defensive team, getting outscored by probably 3 points a game on average, whereas last year they were getting outscored by at least 1 point. Last year, the Lakers won the in-season tournament. This year, they didn't even get anywhere. But nevertheless, even as the Lakers are floundering, Stephen A. Smith is up there talking about JJ Redick is doing a good job. So now after the Lakers got blown out by 29, they got blown out by 41, they lost yesterday. I'm like, no, we got to call Stephen A. to the carpet. Because he needs to explain to us why he thinks JJ Redick is doing a great job, a fantastic job, when the results say otherwise. So what we want to do is want to quickly play what he had to say. It's only about a minute or so sound of him talking about the great job that JJ Redick is doing on ESPN First Take this week. And we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
But when we talk about slippage, I got to look at the totality of his game. I'm seeing him get burnt on defense a lot. I'm seeing him not getting back on defense line. I'm not knocking that. He's approaching 40 years of age. He shouldn't have to. He should have more help, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately, we have to get to a point where at this stage and point in your career, we do have to legitimately ask LeBron James what you're playing for. Because guess what? Lakers ain't going nowhere. Let's call it what it is. And I'm very proud of J.J. Redick. I'm very proud of the job that he's done, and I think he's going to be a damn good coach in the NBA for years to come. I really, really believe that. This is no shade on him. I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at the development or lack thereof of the players around him. Whether it's Hachimura, whether it's D'Angelo Russell, Mr. Cruise Control himself, that's what I call him, okay? Or whomever else you want to come up with, Austin Reeves, high one day, low another, whatever the case may be.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. He thinks that JJ Redick is doing a good job, and I've come to the conclusion that Stephen A. Smith is not watching any basketball games, at all. At all. It's almost as if he has a default position regardless of whatever happens. How can you look at what JJ Redick is doing and then say he's doing a good job? And the irony and the sad part about all of this is that the most disrespected section of sports media has been the one sounding the alarm bells, which is the independent guys. The independent guys have been the ones saying, hey, look, JJ is not as good as you guys are advertising. Where is the equal treatment of JJ the way they treated Darvin Ham? We've been pushing for it. And then finally some NBA guys and some other names are beginning to catch on. Brandon Jennings caught on. I think Rashard McCann caught on. Nick Young caught on. Kenyon Martin called him out. Recently, Rob Parker called him out. And Kendrick Perkins is now calling him out, making fun of him, calling him mind the game. But Stephen A. Smith is still sitting up there maintaining, talking about, JJ's doing a fantastic job. How is JJ Redick doing a fantastic job? And why are you willing to give JJ Redick the benefit of the doubt that they didn't give Darvin Ham? I don't get it. As things stand right now, the Lakers were slightly better last season. That's what the data suggests. So this thing of, JJ's doing a good job and all that, ESPN and these guys at ESPN are going to have to come to terms that they're going to have to call out their own colleague when he's not doing his job. They're going to have to keep it a buck. Because Stephen A. Smith, calls out NBA players. They're a fraternity. They defend themselves. They're not going to keep it real. They're not going to keep it real about their own. They're not going to keep it real about one of your own. Even though Stephen A. Smith's not a basketball player, J.J. Redick was a former analyst at ESPN. He used to work there, so he was one of his colleagues. Call him out. The same way you don't hesitate to call out certain NBA players, don't hesitate to call out J.J. Redick. Or are you telling me that JJ is going to get a different set of treatment because you have a relationship with him? So if you don't have a relationship with somebody, that's when you're going to go off on them. You're not going to pull any punches. No. You need to call out JJ. And when you say he's doing a fantastic job, he needs to expand on that position because I don't see this fantastic job he's doing. I was just watching a video from the Chen who does a fantastic job. It's called Awful Coaching. And he's breaking down the Lakers Hawks game. And he has the title of his video, JJ Redick should be in jail versus the Hawks. And he's just breaking the thing down to a molecular level. And he's not getting paid $10 million a year to talk basketball. So we're going to need you to keep that same energy for JJ Redick. He is not a baby. Let's not treat him like one. Call his behind out too, the way you call out everybody else. The roast must go on. And the beat goes on, and they keep beating and whooping the hell out of the Lakers, and I'm loving every second of it. Last night, the Lakers blew yet another game. They lost another game to a less talented team. And they're all just sitting there pointing fingers. Who did it? Did I do it? Did he do it? I don't know. Then Dave McMenamin asked LeBron James, or it was somebody else, asked LeBron a random ass question. Do you think that NBA fans appreciate what you're doing? LeBron's like, I don't know. Bro, we just lost. I'm not really thinking about whether or not NBA fans appreciate what the hell is what I'm doing or whatever it is. It's a total mess. And what's interesting is, get this, just the day before, after they lost just 2 days, they reacted to it. Just the day before, when they lost by 41 points to the Miami Heat, we produced a show that was centered on some audio that Kendrick Perkins had to make on ESPN when he was mocking JJ Redick and LeBron's podcast by saying, like, where's mine in the game? So for those of you who didn't hear what Kendrick had to say, want to quickly play what he had to say for you now and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Kendrick had to say there.
Look, I don't want to start with the blame pie, the pumpkin pie, the apple pie. I don't give a damn. What we need to focus on is LeBron James. He's backing up JJ Redick, and you know this, Wendy, because this is his hire, okay? This is his hire, Darvin Ham's fire. On the flip side of things, they didn't mind the game yesterday in South Beach, did they? That was the name of their podcast. Did they mind the game?
We're going there?
Yeah, we're going there because they didn't. And here's the thing. This is about, the fourth or fifth time in this short season that we've heard them, JJ, go to the podium and say, my team wasn't competing. Well, why the hell your team is not competing? Do you not have the ears of that locker room? Because if you had the ears of the locker room, then your team would go out there, they not necessarily shoot the ball and play well offensively every night, but damn it, they're going to compete. They're not competing. Why are they not competing? Why are these guys not listening to you? That's the real question.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say there, right? So after this loss at Atlanta Hawks by two points, after the Lakers had one blunder after the other, they brought him in, I think, on SportsCenter to ask him, like, yo, what do you think about the state of affairs with this Los Angeles Lakers team? And Kendrick Perkins did not hold back. He just said that this team is dysfunctional, lost, confused, rudderless. And I'm like, damn. So what I want to do now, I want to play what he had to say. It's only about a minute or so. Listen to what Kendrick had to say when I come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
Yeah, this is still loss number 3 and in a row. When I say Lakers, like, what are they right now?
Dysfunctional. Don't know who they are. Need help. LeBron James says something along the lines of, long as they're not drowning. Well, they are drowning, and they need life jackets. They need help. LeBron James and Anthony Davis need better personnel around them if they're trying to compete for a title, right? And that's what they're trying to do. Anytime you have those two guys on the team, you want to maximize what you have in them and surround them with the necessary pieces. But right now, I see a team that a coach has to beg them night in and night out to put forth effort defensively. I see a team that still lack a playmaker to take the pressure off of LeBron James, because LeBron shouldn't have to be doing all this going on 40 years of age, going out there tonight playing extended minutes, dribbling the ball, making decisions, scoring. Like, that is too much, especially in a tough Western Conference.
Look, if every family is dysfunctional, and if you think yours isn't, you need to look in the mirror because that dysfunction is probably you. The Lakers play again on Sunday. They're going to host the Trailblazers.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say. He's essentially saying that the Lakers are rudderless, gutless, boneless, spineless, that they don't know what the hell is going on out there. And he's absolutely right. He is folks, look, this thing has the potential to get really bad. I'm going to give you guys some scenarios. The Lakers have three more matchups coming up. Here are the following matchups. They have the Portland Trailblazers at home. Then they're followed by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Then they're followed by the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, here's scenario one. Scenario one is they win the game versus Portland, which they're supposed to do. They win the game against the Wolves, and they beat or lose to the Memphis Grizzlies. That's scenario one. Here's scenario two where things can just get out of hand. They lose the Portland game, which they're supposed to win at home. They get embarrassed by the Wolves, and they get mauled by the Grizzly Bears. I think that would send Laker Nation into a total panic because right now they're teetering. You heard LeBron said, we just got to keep swimming. We can't drown. We can't drown. And Kendrick Perkins like, bro, y'all are drowning. So if they screw this up, because there's a very good chance they could lose to the Wolves and to the Memphis Grizzlies. But if they drop that Portland game, oh, Lord, have mercy. It's gonna be a tsunami. A tsunami. And you're gonna see us in the corner with fans blowing this, like making sure the tsunami goes faster and faster, because they deserve it. They deserve it. Because if that happens, we then have to ask the question, where is the leadership? Not just on this team, but in the organization as a whole. The Lakers seem clueless these days. They just seem lost. They seem like a confused franchise. The moment they drafted Bronny, you already knew that it's a confused franchise. Confused. You knew that they were not serious about winning basketball games. So for now, all of a sudden, for them to act like, oh my God, they're not serious. The Lakers ain't serious. If you were serious, you would have gave Dan Hurley the money he was requesting. But instead, they hired a podcaster. Think about that. Mind the Game is who they hired. Mind the Game. And now when things don't go well, JJ Redick is just stumbling and bumbling, producing word salads in every interview he's doing. He ain't saying nothing. He just up there holding his head. Oh, the red light, the green light, the red shirts, the green shirts. If he did the play flare screen, double Zeta, Victor, Cruz, potato chips. Like, he just up there saying nothing. LeBron over there, who's supposed to be the other leader, he's like, what did he say? Whatever he said. Like, yo. I ain't gonna lie, I'm loving it. I am loving it because these LeBron fans have been twerking long enough. The honey finally ran out. They finally ran out of honey. They were up there slapping each other all day long with honey, pouring it down each other's backs, rubbing each other's bellies, just having a good old time. They thought they was going to see something special. Y'all really thought that, didn't y'all? And y'all got a rude awakening, and I'm all here for it. I can't wait. Don't even ask me what we're going to produce. We're going to keep talking about this because we are having a hell of a time right now. A hell of a time.